Alright, so I got out of the new Paul Thomas Anderson movie with Leonardo DiCaprio, one battle after another. And I've got to say that this movie is pretty solid. Let's just get right into it. The movie is about an ex-revolutionary who is now trying to rescue his daughter. Pretty simple premise, pretty simple storyline to follow through. It's just a matter of that story is only about a third or a little over a third of the movie, as it is a 3-act movie, very, very heavily so. And that second act, which is usually the toughest act to nail, I think in most movies, is really, really, really solid. It's really good. It's well paced. It's got everything you'd like in it. And then you have the first and third acts, which are a tad underwhelming. The first act feels so sluggish because if you know anything about the movie, it is all just set up for the actual movie. It's a prologue. And it sort of acts like its own movie as a prequel to the movie we are about to see. And so it just drags on and adds to the runtime. And I think they could have easily just montaged it instead, because they spent way too much time making us try to care for some characters that don't matter. And as a matter of fact, one of them, like the main character that they were trying to focus on, it felt like they were trying to get us to like a bit, I hated. And it's because of how the story is kind of set up. But it's just that the prologue doesn't set much up, and it's just so sluggish. It feels like a chore to get through to then get to the actual movie. And it's just infuriating. It's infuriating because it's a solid pick after that prologue. Like, I'm like, I don't get what all this hype is about. This is kind of bad, honestly. But then we got to the actual movie, and it was really solid. And then the ending just felt a little unsatisfying of a conclusion to the epic that was that second act. So, yeah. It's tough to rate the story because, well, I only really enjoyed 33% of it. But what the movie was marketed on, because I did end up catching trailers for this, was the 33% that was really solid. So it's leaning towards a slight hand grenade, mostly because I think on rewatches I'll probably just skip the prologue. Like, until that title card shows up, nothing of real importance happens. Like, there's very few moments pre-title card that matter in the overarching narrative of the film, and that's my biggest issue. So it's a slight hand grenade, but it's also a bit of a hot pocket. But yeah. Now, where this movie kind of shines is cinematically speaking. It is really pretty. It's really well shot. It's well directed, I think, even though the pacing is a little poor at most instances in the first act, especially in the third act. It does kind of drag on a little bit. But the shot composition, the cinematography, the soundtrack, the score was all really solid. I did really enjoy all of that. It's just really well put together visually speaking. So I'm going to give a hand grenade score here for the cinematics. The directing, like I said, was really solid. I just think it could have been paced a little bit better. Like I said, that first act is just such a chore to get through. It's very unfortunate. But then that second act just flies by and is amazing. But yeah. Third act, a little draggy, but Paul Thomas Anderson does a good job of setting up his scenes and how he crafted the film. So I'm going to give him a hand grenade score here. The acting I thought was all really good and well done. All the actors do really well. I did like Leo in this movie, although it's not the best Leo role that I've seen. I think I've liked DiCaprio in other movies a lot more in some instances, but this was still a really solid DiCaprio performance. But I do think my favorite was Benicio del Toro. I just thought he was really funny in this movie, and his character did not miss any beats. And yeah, the comedic moments were few and far between, but they really, really hit hard, and they were very funny. So I'm gonna give the cast here, the actors, all a hand grenade score because of how good Del Toro and DiCaprio were in this movie. So yeah, overall expectations and experience. This movie was about as good as I expected. I didn't have super high hopes, but I had a really good time. I had a blast finding out that it was kind of a comedy movie as well, and it was funny for when it tried to be funny, but it also still had its serious moments. Well, yeah, real solid movie. I thoroughly enjoyed it. I do recommend checking it out. I think it's pretty worthwhile seeing it in theaters. So I'm gonna say that this is a certified hand grenade movie, even though it's not perfect. It does have a lot of good things going for it. So that's pretty much all I have to say. If you enjoyed, leave a like, comment down below your thoughts and opinions on One Battle After Another. If you've seen it or now you're planning on seeing it, subscribe if you haven't already. And other than that, I'll leave you guys to it. Till next time, bye.